Welcome to Cooking with Miss O. We're talking about another big superfood here again. This is what we're going to be doing for a couple of Saturdays, and because I think it's really important for y'all to understand your food and how God did it so that we could be healed by so many things on the right foods. I want to tell you that okra in the South is very popular, and mostly it's fried. And now we've started sauteing it, and we put it in gumbo and we put it in vegetable soup and everything like that. But I knew that it was very healthy, but when I researched it, I've started researching these foods because my daughter had cystic fibrosis, and when a Seventh-day Adventist came to my house to help me, and she only had 9 days to live, and the 10th day was her second birthday, she taught me how to grind my grains, and within 3 months, my daughter was totally healed of cystic fibrosis. And 18 years after she was healed of it, in 2006, at Christmas time, before my husband Tom died, this was his Christmas present and mine too. It showed that we really had gotten our miracle. A new medical study had come out that if you do feed a child with cystic fibrosis the whole wheat berry, it heals them. And it did for my kids. And I just want to tell you, so I've learned a lot in the years about how these superfoods, and whole wheat berries are a superfood. And so I'm doing all of this to show y'all what we learned about everything. Now, okra is amazing. And okra is the most hated vegetable in the world, and because they say it's slimy, and we don't want things to be slimy. So I've done sauteing it. I worked with okra a lot, and in vegetable soup, which we'll do when it gets colder, and I've already done it I think once, and it's in my cookbook, Cooking with Miss O. But sauteing it with a Vidalia onion and a little bit of oil, this is the kind of benefits you have from it. It has on this one 24, so I'm going to have to read some of it because I can't remember 24. It is high in fiber content. So when you eat okra, you don't get constipated. It prevents diabetes, high level of folic acid, which is the B vitamins, relieves you from asthma or breathlessness. That one was wonderful to me for people with lung problems and asthma. Prevents constipation. Great source of vitamin K, which helps with osteoporosis and avoids strokes. Prevents obesity, prevents colon cancer, prevents cholesterol, beneficial for your skin, great dose of vitamin C. See why I had to read all this to you? It also helps when people are having problems with pigment in their skin. It shines your hair, natural hair conditioner, scalp moisturizer, prevents dandruff, improves your health. Is a probiotic. It is natural and non-toxic, heals ulcers, cures common cold and cough and infections in lungs, helps you overcome fatigue, also helps depression, keeps your skin pimples free from pimples, and cures vision problems because of the high levels of beta-carotene, vitamin A. It gives you good eye health. Now, one thing I have found out when I do all this is that you say, well, I haven't been eating it all this time and I've already got these problems. With whole wheat, it healed our children and they had those problems. And cystic fibrosis supposedly is unhealable. And for those of you who doubt that, because a doctor, when my daughter was going to have her baby, he told her that she didn't have it at all because she didn't have the new test. And she was one of the first that had the new test. And then after the new test said she had cystic fibrosis, she had the old test, and it also showed that. So I want to tell you that you can be sick with any of this stuff, and the okra can help you if you eat it. So if you stay on all these foods, you don't have to have so much medicine. After we started with the wheat berry, it was 10 years before any of us needed an antibiotic. That's amazing. And we were on antibiotics all the time. So that's why I want to show you all the foods that I have found out about. We're going to show you how to freeze up the okra, and so you can put it, because this is the last of the season, and you might want to get it and put it up so you can put it in things. And I'm going to show you how I do it to cook. I put just a little bit of olive oil. I have this kind of pan. I got it at Ingles. And I got this at Ingles too. So you don't have to buy expensive stuff to cook good and healthy. Ingles has a good supply. And maybe it's in my Ingles because I'm in the Clemson area and there's students buying stuff, but I'm hoping it's in all the other stores. I just put a little bit in there. And then I sauteed the Vidalia onion first. And I don't put too much because sometimes kids won't eat it, even though the Vidalia is very sweet and mild. And I do it like this. I just cut it straight across, like that. Let me turn this way, that's getting too close to my fingers. And then we do this, take all the skin away. Just small pieces. Because if you do that, they cook quicker so that the okra's not burning before the onions get done. Now we're going to put all this in the pan. And we're going to start the onions up. I don't put salt and pepper on this. I just saute it like this, and then if you want to do that at the table. We'll turn it up to a little bit over medium, and we'll let that start. And now we will start with the okra. I know that people don't like it because it's slimy, but if you saute it or bake it, it isn't slimy. See, there's no slime. Where when you boil it, I'm going to put it on here. Now in my vegetable soup, I saute it before I put it in my vegetable soup so that it doesn't get slimy there either, because my kids wouldn't have eaten it either. If you eat the right things and you eat it raw or fresh, and freezing for the winter is the best way to have the freshness. I don't know how much it loses all the foods that we have that are frozen, but I've heard that it's the best way to have it frozen. Now, of course, I got my okra. If you see that big box over there, I got that from my vegetable stand so that I can freeze up the okra, and I cut it up like this and put it in a pack. You don't have to do that. I'm going to show y'all. I do it two ways. And then I figure out how much I need until okra is back out again. You should eat okra at least one time a week, and if more. And pickled okra, it's wonderful. There we go. Now our onions are... This is an easy, quick way and for dinner, and it's inexpensive. When I quit to stay home with my kids because we had lost our first one and it looked like we were going to lose the rest of them, Tom was a teacher, and he said that I could stay home, and so I had to economically think of everything I could do so that we could have a nice life, but it was very economical. So when people tell me that they can't come home, they can come home. You just have to live a little bit differently, and it's really better because then you get to be with your own kids. And we did a lot of stuff like playing ball in the yard and things that didn't cost money. Here we go. We're about put a pretty good bit in here because of the oil that we have in there and the onion. And see, you have this, and that would last you the whole week if you needed to. We were a family of 4, and I can still feed a family of 4 healthy with good food for $50 a week. And that's why I'm showing you all of this. Because in the winter, I got all my stuff from the vegetable stands or farms and all, my blueberries from the blueberry farm, and froze all of this. So in the winter, my grocery money I could save up for decorating or presents or something fun. And you don't want it too, like, it's time to go to a break. See you back.
Even though the night can seem so long, it's our song.
Welcome back, y'all. We finished the okra, and I hope you can see that there with the onions. And we're going to leave that just like it is, and we're going to do something else with our okra. There's another recipe that I've just learned about. We put a little bit of olive oil on a pan like this, not too big a one. And I actually got this at Ingles, so you don't have to buy a real expensive one. I'm going to put that right there, a little bit over here so y'all can see. I use wax paper, and that's the brand I use, and I rub it into the pan. There. And then we cut up the okra. You can do 2 at a time if you want to. Just cut off the 2 ends and then just chop it like that. And we're going to bake this, and it's going to have Parmesan cheese grated on it, and it's wonderful, and it's not slimy. I just got this okra at my vegetable stand yesterday. My vegetable stand is in Clemson, and it is on the Anderson Highway coming out of Clemson, and it is wonderful. It's a young man who took over from the last ones who were wonderful, and he's doing a really great job, he and his wife. Put these pretty thin, and we're going to bake it in a, depending on your oven, a 400 or 375 for just a few minutes. We are going to show you how to make this, and you watch it. It definitely needs to be in there for about 15 minutes in the oven. And this one might not get done before our show is over, so let me cut this up and show you with the Parmesan cheese. Now, even though this is a long one, it's not a tough one. And you don't have to worry about these spots and all. That's not that it's going bad. That's just because water has gotten on it or moisture with it. These are good. And you want not hard ones. You want to see how easy it is to do this. Now we need some more onion here. So we'll do another section of this. That's got the olive oil, the onion, and the okra, just like we did in that pan, but now it's going to be baked. So we'll do small pieces. should be talking right now, y'all, but when I have a knife in my hand, here we go. We're just gonna put that in here. Now, of course, you have to make bigger if you have a family. Let's push it around in the olive oil that I have here on it. And get it away from the sides and in the middle. Okay, now we're going to, this is a little thing I got from Walmart, and it will shred carrots, or it has this piece here and it's kind of sharp, so be careful with the kids. And see, we're gonna do the Parmesan cheese. We can do it smaller if we want, and you can do that with a carrot and have the shredded in your salad. Like I said, newlyweds, single moms, single dads, college students, you don't have to, and then tear up a little bit on it. And this on your okra is wonderful. And we'll go. And I know you're not supposed to do this because of magic here and stuff, but this had to be cooked here, and I couldn't cook it the night before, so I am going to ask that one of the camera people is going to put this in the oven for us. There. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Now, the next thing you want to do with your okra before it's out of season, so you will have it all winter. I count up how many weeks, how many times I'm going to use the okra, and for my vegetable soup or for eating it just like that. I'm just going to set that right there right now. I don't wash my okra before I put it up to freeze. You can wash it afterwards because then it doesn't do as well. So I take the freezer bags and I take the quart because they do better if you do the quart. The gallon kind of gets all pushed up and sometimes it'll get ice in it, and then it's hard to get it apart without freezing the whole thing. So it's easier to take out 2 bags if you need it, or 3 bags if you need it, instead of a messed up frozen one. So I do it just like this. And your kids can do this. So let them do that. I usually try to have somewhere between 25 and 30 bags. And my grandchildren are almost old enough to help me with this because my kids are grown. Remember, if we eat the right things, we will be healthier longer. Tom had a genetic artery condition that basketball players drop dead on the basketball court. When they did his autopsy, the coroner told me that they wanted to know what I fed him, and because he lived longer than anybody has lived in good health this way. They mostly die before they're 44, usually in their teens and their 20s. And he was 56 and in perfect health. He didn't suffer. He went, now this one, that one's good. When you get them that big, see if they're tough. And if you can touch them and push them like that, then they're not. Here we go. Then all you do is pop these in the freezer, like this. And I have a stack of them at the end of summer because they stack up good, so it doesn't take up much of your room. You can freeze most anything, but I've seen that doing okra this way is so easy. And it has good taste. And like we all don't want, it's not slimy either when you pull it out. See how easy that is to do that? So, what I wanted to talk to you about is we have so much cancer these days. And if our kids are eating lots of sweets and processed food, it's really hard for them to do this. So you're better off if you feed them, start them out with this right away, or just totally stop it and change the way you eat, and then they will get to liking it. And the other thing is too, your kids will be calmer. They won't be sometimes as grouchy and stuff, because when we have the wrong foods, we have headaches, we have constipation, we have problems, with the headaches, with the eyes and all of this stuff. When we totally changed our diet like that, and we had to save our kids, everything changed. Everything changed for all of us, the things that we were having problems with. And my family is diabetes, and here I am, I've never had it. I was starting with low blood sugar in my early 20s, and when we started eating the grains and eating like this, I haven't had any more problems since at all. So that's why I wanted to, and it's inexpensive too. So I think that we're ready for a break. Thanks. Welcome back. Here's the okra already done, and I'm going to take a taste of that for you. With the onion, it's delicious. This is the kind of box I get for my okra to put up. I get it at my vegetable stand, and you can probably go there too, to yours. And that lasts me for the whole winter. This is an easy, economical meal, and I usually put Springer Mountain chicken with this and have maybe an ear of corn or a salad. And then the Parmesan cheese that I got this time is at Ingles. They've got a new one now, and I just found that. And I wanted to also tell y'all about my scripture. I always try to give you a scripture. Sometimes I forget at the end, but I was going to tell you, as I give the scripture through this period of time where we're doing all superfoods, I get this thing at, and I learned it a long time ago when my kids were little, and I put it up on my windowsill for the scripture of the day. And I get it at Walmart in the stationery part. And the first one here, so y'all can go along with me. The first one is Joshua 1:9, be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid, nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. To me, as a widow, that means the world to me. I am not alone, but also with what's going on in this world right now and in America and everywhere, it's kind of scary. So scriptures like that really help me. Plus, I love the book of Joshua, and my son was named because of that book in the Bible. So thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you try this and if you like the okra better this way. And in my cookbook is the vegetable soup for lunch, and it has the okra in it too. Thank you so much. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.